Hey, Triple Cross, it's your boy Casey at Niners_fanman on IG, Twitter, and YouTube. Follow me on those platforms, and I'm back at it with the Daily Triple here. We got our second story of the day coming out of the NFL. None other than Stefon Diggs in the headline today. If you don't know, yesterday, on Tuesday, he opted out of mandatory minicamp, which is part of the OTA program or organized team activities of the NFL. So, what does that mean? It's mandatory. He's supposed to be there. Why wasn't he there? Well, here's how the story goes in today's Daily Triple, which, by the way, if you'd like to be a subscriber and get these stories emailed straight to your inbox, do that in the description below this clip. Do it now. I'll wait. Okay, I'm done waiting. Now on to the story. The star wide receiver of the Buffalo Bills, Stefon Diggs, isn't happy with his organization. Or at least he wasn't. Reportedly, anyway. But now we're not too sure either way. That's pretty much how it's been going the last 24 hours in the media. Let's keep going. Honestly, it's a bit of a media kerfuffle at this point. Either this is a non-story being drummed up for views and clicks by the media, or the Bills have done an incredible job in covering up a situation in which their veteran receiver, their Pro Bowl receiver, Stefon Diggs, might actually be unpleased with the team. So we're going to explore each of those possibilities here in the Daily Triple. And you guys are getting sneak peek access into this stuff because, normally you got to be a subscriber to get it. But let's explore that first option now. Firstly, Stefon Diggs is fed up with the Buffalo Bills. He's had it. He's up to here with them. He might even be up to here with them. That's how fed up he is with it, because he's mad. And we know this because he refused to show up for a mandatory minicamp. And his own head coach was very concerned about the situation. He even elaborated, just in case you think that might be just some kind of media quote that gets taken out of context. He elaborated to say, it's extremely serious. Wow, must be serious then. Not only that, but his teammates, Josh Allen and Von Miller, they both heard about this situation, obviously. They were at practice. They were at that mandatory minicamp, and they noticed him not being there. So what do? Their team shills, of course. They're going to rush to cover it up, right? So they both come out with quotes, kind of lessening the blow, making it not seem like such a big deal, sweeping it under the rug, if you will. And to top this all off, it's obviously some kind of big deal, right? Well, what are they normally mad about in the NFL? Normally they're mad about money. They want to get paid more money, right? Well, it's not about the money in this situation. You know why? Because that part is already taken care of with Stefon Diggs. Just last season, he signed an extension for $104 million. That's a multi-year deal, $70 million of which is guaranteed. NFL contracts, not like every sport around the planet, not all the money is guaranteed. But in this deal, 70% or so of this deal being guaranteed, that's pretty good, especially for a wide receiver. This is one of the better receiver contracts in the league. So it's not about the contract. It must be about something larger, right? Maybe. So if we look at the other side and we look at the talking points on that side of this, we could say that, Von Miller came out himself. He's an upstanding guy in the NFL. We trust what he says mostly, right? Like as much as we can trust any player on what they say. But he spoke to the situation, and he said a bunch of times in his interview, his relatively short interview, he kept saying, it's really not that big of a deal. It's getting all blown out of proportion. Josh Allen, in his interview, he also said, if he's got some kind of issue with the team, then it's probably that's fine. That's his right to do so. It's not that big a deal either. And if he's got a bone to pick with the team, then maybe he's got a bone to pick with me too. And maybe I could have even done a better job at being a teammate. So still really having the back of Diggs here. He's saying I could have done a better job of being a teammate, whatever issue he's having, and he wouldn't speak to particulars. So both guys really going to bat for their guy here in Diggs. And even Coach McDermott, head coach Sean McDermott, the guy who said it's extremely serious and is very concerned, he had some clarifying quotes. He still didn't say too much, a lot of coach speak kind of stuff, but he basically jumped on that same thing later on and said kind of like, oh, no, I didn't mean to make such a big deal about it. Okay, so those are the two realities, right? You pick the narrative that you prefer, and you just choose to live in that world, right? Like, is he pissed at the team, or is it not a big deal? Whatever, I'm just laying out the facts here for you guys to decide on your own. But I will also lend a little bit of opinion on the matter. my opinion is that of any position in the NFL, wide receiver is the one that's regarded to be, for lack of a better term, the most diva-ish. They take things and they're flamboyant personalities often. They're in the headlines a ton because they score a lot of touchdowns. So they get asked all kinds of different stuff and yeah, they seem to kind of thrive underneath the media pressure. So they put themselves there pretty often. You see it with guys like Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham. Talent-wise, Stefon Diggs surely fits into that category of talent. So maybe that's a big part of this. Is there's just some kind of yeah, I'm not going to show up to that day or whatever. Like, I don't know. But I would say there probably was some kind of issue. He probably had some kind of at least minor issue. This is what I gather from trying to read between the lines of what both sides are saying. There's probably some sort of minor issue with the team, and the team, in rushing to kind of, sweep it away under the rug, whatever you want to say. It does seem like they're trying to minimize it, which sounds like a bad thing. Like they're trying not to give it any attention. I think likely what we know about this organization and how the players speak about it, they're also trying to actually minimize it, as in like remedy whatever the problem is with Diggs. And the biggest evidence for that is probably Diggs himself showing back up to organized team activities today, Wednesday, June 14th. So only missed one day. Not that big of a deal. As Von Miller said, maybe that's true for the most part. I bet it was a small kind of hiccup of thing, and the media runs away with it. Diggs even sees himself like, I mean, guys, let's not get crazy. Like, it can just take on a whole mind of its own some of these times when the media starts taking a story and running with it. Diggs shows back up the next day, and we're still talking about it. The real question is whether or not whatever the issue is, if one even exists, is it going to impact the rest of their season? My personal opinion on the matter is probably not. They're a really good football team. They're likely going to win a ton of games. If Stefon Diggs were so unhappy that he wouldn't play for them or demanded the trade, that could definitely have some implications on their season, but I don't get that from this story alone. We'll wait and see how things develop, but that's been this story from today's Daily Triple. I've been Casey, or at Niners_fanman on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. Follow me on those platforms, guys. Subscribe to the Daily Triple newsletter down in the description below this clip, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.